up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddison Hill, and yes, it's time for another Pop Off with Maddison. For today's Pop Off, I'm going to be talking about Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn because, you guys, there is so much breakup tea to sift through when it comes to these two, and obviously we need to discuss. Okay, so for those of you who might have, I don't know, taken a social media break over the weekend because it was a holiday, or those of you who just weren't on your phones or living under a rock, you might have missed that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn broke up after 6 years together. The news personally broke for me while I was at Disney, and the happiest place on earth quickly went to what the heck is actually going on. Now, I know some people are still living in the world where this breakup doesn't exist because Taylor nor Joe have personally confirmed this news themselves, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I wanted to live in that naive world with you for a bit, but unfortunately, I'm here to bring you back to reality and inform you that I do think Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn have officially split. We're gonna get into why these two broke up after all of this time. We're also going to talk about some of the rumors that went on Dumois. You know, did Taylor and Joe have a marriage or commitment ceremony? Dumois is saying yes, Page 6 is saying no. I'm also going to fill you guys in on some of the hints that Taylor Swift has been dropping herself that this breakup did actually take place. One instance happened at one of her recent shows in Texas. Another little hint she might have gave has to do with her going out last night and what she was wearing. You guys, this is just a lot for my little Swiftie mind to handle. Yes, I'm gonna go ahead and put that out there up top. For those of you who are new here, I am a Swiftie. I'm a Taylor Swift fan. If you are one of those people who does not like Taylor Swift, that is totally fine. I don't understand you, but as always, I respect you. Anyway, you guys, there is just so much that I want to get into here when it comes to Taylor and Joe because there's been so much information and I can't wait to get into it with you guys. But first, because this is the first pop-off of the week, you know, I have to check in and see how the House of Hill is doing. So let me know how you are, what you've been up to, all of that good stuff down below. Like I previously said, this past weekend I went to Disney with my family. We checked out the Food and Wine Festival at California Adventure, which is one of my sister and I's favorite times of the year. I am actually going to post a little YouTube short about some of my favorite things that I tried at the Food and Wine Festival, so look out for that. And then on Easter, we just went to church, we hung out. It was a really overall chill, relaxing weekend, which considering the end of this month is going to get crazy with me, you know, celebrating the big 3-0. You guys, I'm still not happy about it. I'm still not there. I'm really working on it. But enough about me because like I said, we have so much to get into here, you guys, and I've been waiting to sit down and really be able to flush everything out with you. So straight to the tea, people, this is your time to shine. Go ahead and put this time code down there in the comments. And now let's get straight to unwrapping these Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn breakup facts. Okay, so as I briefly mentioned at the beginning of this video, you guys, Entertainment Tonight were the ones to break the news this past weekend that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn were breaking up after 6 years together. A real quick recap for those of you who saw this news and were like, wait, what? I didn't even know Taylor Swift had a boyfriend. So Joe Alwyn is an actor. He's from the UK. He is a very good looking man, if I do say so myself. And I'm not actually normally into blondes because I think it's too much blonde in one place, but something about Joe Alwyn, you guys, I don't know, I was into it. Now, while it's a little unclear where Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn met, many speculate that it happened at the 2016 Met Gala because the two were first romantically linked back in 2017. They kept their relationship extremely private, you guys. They never walked a red carpet together. She never posted a photo of them together on her Instagram. I know a couple people messaged me and were like, did she delete all of the photos of them off her social media? She never posted any photos of them on her social media, and he didn't post any photos of her on his Instagram either. Of course, Taylor Swift has alluded to Joe and their relationship in some of her songs. Some of my favorites include Invisible String, Sweet Nothings. Joe Alwyn also helped her write some of her songs under a fake name on some of her more recent albums like Folklore and Evermore, and I believe Midnights. Don't quote me on that. But I'm just saying, well, yes, these two kept their relationship very private. It was a long-term relationship and it was very serious. Okay, now that you're caught up, let's get back to this initial breakup report from Entertainment Tonight. A source told ET that the split was, quote, amicable and that it, quote, wasn't dramatic. This Entertainment Tonight source went on to say that the relationship had run its course and that their breakup was the reason why Joe Alwyn hasn't been at any of Taylor Swift's recent shows on her Eras tour. And then after the initial report, you guys, it was mayhem on social media. People were absolutely losing it, which I do want to take a second to say leaking breakup news over a holiday weekend is very out of the norm of what celebrities typically do. Normally, when it comes to a big celeb breakup, they'll leak the information on a Friday afternoon. That way, by the time Monday rolls around, the news cycle has kind of changed and the news of their breakup will have fizzled out. But the fact that this Joe Alwyn and Taylor Swift breakup tea broke on a freaking Saturday, and like I said, a holiday weekend, that was insane and people freaked the F out. Now, in the midst of this social media media freak out, you guys. Over on Dumois, there was a lot of conflicting information. For example, first Dumois posted saying that she got a tip about the breakup on Tuesday, aka earlier in the week, and she didn't believe it to be true. And the reason why Dumois did not believe the breakup to be true is because she had so many sources confirm to her, you guys, that Taylor and Joe had some sort of commitment or marriage ceremony last year. Now, obviously, marriage laws and licenses are different outside of the United States, and that's why Dumois didn't necessarily say it was a marriage per se, especially because no divorce documents have been signed, but Dumois is still very much on the side that Taylor and Joe did have some sort of commitment ceremony. Now, to make matters more confusing, like I said, there's a lot of conflicting information when it comes to this breakup. Page 6 released a report yesterday saying that a source confirmed to them that it is, quote, fully not true that Taylor and Joe had any marriage or commitment ceremony ever. In addition to that, you guys, this Page 6 report also addressed another tip that was sent into Dumois amidst the social media frenzy after Joe and Taylor's breakup was announced. Someone wrote into Dumois claiming that Taylor Swift was already dating somebody new, that she was dating an older man, but this Page 6 source says that is absolutely also not true. This source said that Taylor Swift is, quote, 100% single, which I definitely 1000% believe, because I do not believe that Taylor Swift would already be dating somebody new so quickly after she just ended a 6-year relationship. Continuing on, you guys, let's get into why exactly Taylor and Joe ended up going their separate ways. This information is coming from a very telling report that People magazine dropped. So this People magazine source claims that the breakup was largely caused by, quote, differences in their personalities. This People magazine insider went on to say, quote, they've had rough patches before and always worked things out, so friends thought that they would take some time apart but eventually come back together. However, ultimately the source said that Taylor and Joe weren't a right fit for each other, and this source also added that Taylor and Joe had plenty in common and how they fell in love in a safe bubble while she was retreating from the world. This was pre her Reputation era, so this is right after Taylor had all of that drama with Kim and Kanye. Nobody saw her for a very long time, and in the midst of nobody seeing her, that's when she met Joe and they kind of started falling in love. So like this source is saying, they fell in love in this very safe bubble. In fact, Taylor Swift also talks about this in her Netflix documentary, Miss Americana. Highly recommend if you haven't watched it. This insider then went on to say that when the pandemic happened, that obviously they were locked down together and they were once again able to grow their relationship in this, quote, insulated way, again in this safe bubble away from the public, but that Joe, quote, didn't really know her yet outside of this bubble. And ultimately, you guys, it sounds like Taylor Swift's level of fame is what ended up separating these two, which just absolutely kills me and surprised me. Anyway, this People magazine source said, quote, Joe has struggled with Taylor's level of fame and the attention from the public. The differences in their personalities have also become harder to ignore after years together. They've grown apart. Now, to make matters more sad for those of us who loved these two together and really thought that Taylor had found her person, you guys, this People magazine source also said that Joe and Taylor were talking about marriage up until a few months ago, but at the end of the day, quote, Taylor didn't see them working out in the long run. This People magazine source once again reiterated that the breakup happened recently and it wasn't dramatic, and this source also added that the two are, quote, friendly, and that Taylor doesn't have anything bad to say about Joe and that she's focused on her tour right now. There's still a lot of respect between them, so I guess that's positive. Now for my hometown skeptics, aka my Swifties, who are refusing to believe this news until Taylor Swift or Joe Alwyn personally confirms, I have to tell you guys, our girl has steadily been hinting that this breakup news is true, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So at her show in Arlington, Texas, when she got to the folklore portion of her set list, instead of playing Invisible String like she had done at previous shows, she switched it and played The One. Now for those of you who don't know what any of that means, Invisible String is a song that Taylor Swift wrote about her and Joe Alwyn. It's essentially about their love story, how this invisible string tied them together at all these different parts of their life. And The One is a song about lost love and remembering what once was. It's one of my personal favorite songs on folklore, but you get it. The fact that Taylor Swift had been singing a song about her and Joe's relationship and then switched it for a song that's talking about lost love, that's a sign that our girl is no longer in her relationship. In addition to that, you guys, just last night, Taylor Swift was seen out in New York City. She was with her music partner in crime, Jack Antonoff, and Taylor was seen wearing a cute little off-the-shoulder black top and some bejeweled jeans. Now, for those of you who are like, what's the significance of bejeweled? So Taylor Swift has a song on her new album, Midnights, called Bejeweled, which is all about, you know, somebody being in a relationship and reminding their man that they still got it. When they go out, they're still bejeweled. They still light up a room. You guys get it. It's basically just been a big freaking mess. Also, Nick Cannon was on the Howard Stern show joking about how he wants Taylor Swift to be the mother of his 13th child and how his spidey senses were tingling when he heard that her and Joe broke up and he thinks they have a lot in common. I can't with Nick Cannon. I didn't even want to give this man the time of day, but it's a headline, and in case any of you asked, I wanted to let you know, yes, I did see it. You know that man's procreating absolutely perplexes me. I think it was a way for him to just get in the headlines, but still, I feel like I had to mention it because we are talking about Taylor Swift. Anyway, you guys, obviously, as you can tell, I have a lot of thoughts about this situation, and while normally I would feel weird popping bottles talking about a breakup, I feel like Taylor Swift needs the shams. She has a song called Champagne Problem, so I feel like it's appropriate, and honestly, after all of that, I need a shambong. Okay, you guys, so when I first saw this breakup news break, I first thought, what in the expletive? No way can this be true. And then when I saw that Entertainment Tonight was the outlet that broke this news, it definitely gave me pause, and I was like, oh no, I think this is true. Because there's this weird hierarchy and like politics when it comes to entertainment news outlets. I learned this very early on when I moved here. Apparently, Entertainment Tonight is like the OG, the senior, and whenever anything needs to break, people are supposed to go to Entertainment Tonight first, then E! News, then Access, extras in there too. TMZ, I would say, is somewhere in between Entertainment Tonight and E! News because, you know, TMZ has been known to pay for exclusives, Entertainment Tonight not so much. So when I saw that Entertainment Tonight were the ones to break this news, then TMZ posted it, then everyone else, I was like, oh my gosh, this has to be true. But then whenever I went on Dumois, I had a little bit of hope whenever she was like, I heard about this on Tuesday, I didn't think it was true, they had this commitment ceremony. But then, you guys, I quickly came to reality and I was like, oh no, this breakup is actually freaking happening. Obviously, I'm sure as you guys could tell throughout this video, I obviously loved Taylor and Joe together. I admired how they kept their relationship so private that half the people didn't even know Taylor Swift had a boyfriend when this breakup news broke. Like, I think that just goes to show how truly these two kept their relationship for themselves, which Taylor Swift hasn't been able to do before. So I absolutely loved these two together. I don't know, I guess I just felt, especially after watching her documentary, that Joe kind of came into Taylor's life at a time when she felt like she couldn't trust anyone, but yet she was able to trust him and open up to him, and they were able to kind of fall in love in this bubble. I mean, I don't know, I feel like my hopeless romantic is showing, but I just really did love these two together. I felt like Taylor Swift had finally found her person. So yes, of course, initially the human part of me was very sad, but now reality has hit. And when it comes to this rumor that Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn had a marriage or commitment ceremony at some point, I'm gonna go with Dumois on this one as opposed to Page 6. I do believe that they might have had some sort of commitment ceremony, and the reason why I'm saying that is because that would rationalize why that People magazine source said Taylor and Joe were talking about marriage up until a few months ago, because when you hear that and then you see that two people have decided to break up, it seems very jarring. But in my opinion, I can see Taylor and Joe having some sort of commitment ceremony in the UK, you know, where he's from, around his people, around his family, and then them discussing a few months ago when they're going to legally marry in the US and when they're going to have their marriage ceremony here. So that's kind of where I personally stand when it comes to this marriage rumor. Now, digging in more to that People magazine article as to why Joe and Taylor broke up, I think the thing that really makes me irritated is the fact that this source said Joe couldn't handle the level of fame that surrounded Taylor Swift because, you know, they had always kind of been in this private bubble, and now that she started rehearsing for her tour and he saw the mayhem around her tour, he couldn't handle it. I mean, Joe freaking Alwyn, you can't just love someone when you're in your love bubble. And I hate saying that because I sound like Teresa Giudice from Real Housewives of New Jersey, but it's true. You can't just love someone when you're in your own private little world. Unfortunately, that's not how things work, especially when you're with Taylor Swift. And I think that part of the article really bothered me because, again, one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs is her song Peace. It's on her album Folklore. And in this song, you guys, she talks about how people are always going to be talking. There's always going to be commentary around her. And she has a line in there where she says, would it be enough if I can never give you peace? So I feel like Taylor and Joe had these conversations about her level of fame. She told him, we are never going to be 1000% off the grid. Are you okay with that? And I feel like for a large part of their relationship, he obviously was okay with it. But then girl has to go on tour and all of a sudden he can't handle it. I'm not about that. And you know what else I want to say? I think Joe's team are the ones who leaked this breakup news to begin with because they have been so freaking private about their relationship. I highly doubt that Taylor Swift would want this information leaking on a holiday weekend while she's in the midst of her tour. And in addition to that, you guys, if you just look at the reports and you look at the way these sources are talking, a lot of them are like, Taylor decided that this breakup needed to happen. Taylor decided they weren't meant to be. Taylor decided. Taylor decided. So to me, that sounds like it's coming from Joe's people. And honestly, I feel like it needs to be said, it's weird that we're hearing more about their breakup than we ever heard about their actual relationship. And you know what? I also think this is a good reminder for everybody to never freaking settle. I've been having this conversation with several of my close friends lately. You know, Taylor Swift is 33. She was with Joe Alwyn for 6 years. She could have very easily, you guys, decided to stick this relationship out, go through with this marriage, because I know where Taylor Swift is from and I know where I'm from. Sometimes that's the mentality that you're supposed to have. There is still this mentality in different places. I know it's getting better, but overall, I feel like there's still this mentality that when you're in your 30s and you're a woman, and if you've been in a long-term relationship, even if you're unhappy and even if you're not sure this person is the one, just suck it up, get married. Something better might not come along. So you might as well just settle down with this person because you've already dedicated 6 years of your life to them. You're in your 30s. It's game over for you. You know, a lot of people still do have this mentality, and then I feel like those people who do settle end up waking up 5-10 years down the line. They're married, they have kids, and now they're like, oh, snap, crackle, pop, what did I get myself into? You know, I feel like that happens a lot, and I have to shout out Taylor Swift for deciding not to settle and for saying, yes, you know what, I did dedicate 6 years of my life to this man, but he is not my person. He is not who I'm supposed to be with forever. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and cut my losses here. That is really hard for a lot of people to do. I know she's a celebrity. I know she has millions of dollars, so it's easy to just be like, oh, she's gonna be fine. But I still think on a human level, we should recognize that it is not easy to walk away from somebody after 6 years. It is not easy to walk away from somebody after that time when you were thinking this person was gonna be your husband and this person was gonna be your forever. Also, selfishly, maybe it makes me feel a little bit better that I'm turning 30 and I'm single, and now Taylor is 33 and single, Selena's also in her 30s, and I know she's being linked to Zayn Malik, but she's dating around, living her best single life, so maybe on some selfish level, I'm like, oh, thank God I'm not the only one. But I'm just saying, overall, I was initially sad about this breakup, but after hearing more about why they broke up, I do think it was the right thing. I obviously think Taylor's gonna be okay. I think Joe Alwyn is gonna be okay as well. And now I'm ready to hear your guys' thoughts on this Taylor and Joe breakup news. So let me know all your thoughts and feels down below. While you guys are at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. For more content, make sure you guys follow me over on Instagram and TikTok. And of course, don't forget to keep coming back here to check out my YouTube shorts. If you guys want to show me a little extra love, or you just want to make sure I see your comment, don't forget you can also hit that super thanks button down below. You guys can also check out all of my merch over at my merch store at houseofhill.com. And on that note, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.